your bass player for Cirrus Minor. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about my live amplification setup, so I'm going to give you a quick video tour and show you what it is that I use to process my signals and amplify it, and show you what it all does.
Okay, we'll start with the basics. Of course, I've got a couple of basses over here that I use live, and then my rack and my cabinet. You gotta have the rack and the cabinet, right? So the cabinet actually will be the next thing to go. Right now I'm using a Carbon BRX series stack with 4 10s and a tweeter horn in the top and an 18 in the bottom. And I'm thinking about trading this out for a couple of 15-inch monitor wedges, because live your amp is only your onstage monitor anyway most of the time. Then the rack. Let's see what we got in the rack. We've got the Korg tuner on top. Rendered pretty well obsolete by the iPad, but it's in there just as a backup. Underneath that we have the Furman power conditioner, and it's got all the outlets on the back and gives everything a nice smooth power signal, and everything, including my pedal board, runs out of the Furman power conditioner. Below that we have the SansAmp, and this is my direct out that I send out to the house. I send it out from there, and I send it from the house, split it at the SansAmp, one signal to the house, one signal to the Carbon B1500 1900 watt monoblock head. In case you guys haven't noticed, I tend to use a lot of carbon. I've got the carbon head, the carbon cabinets, and my 2 main basses over here are carbon, so I'm not endorsed by carbon at the moment, but maybe someone will forward in this video. If we turn around here, we get a little first-person view of what I see when I'm playing here at the illustrious Cirrus Minor rehearsal studios. Okay, so over here we have the Griffin Stomp box. Show you what that does in a little bit. Got my pedal board, and of course the iPad. Now on the pedal board, I've got the volume pedal, and that is so I can shut myself off to change instruments. I also use it to fade myself in on a song. There's one song where there's a fade in on the intro, and so that adjusts my volume. The upper two here are bass equalizer pedals, and they're pretty much obsolete now too. I just haven't taken them off my board yet. The freeze and the tremolo. These are 2 effects that I have not found good simulations of in the iPad arsenal. The freeze pedal, it's awesome. It takes just a tiny little slice, maybe a 1/16 of a second little slice, and loops it, so you can hit a note or a chord and grab it, and it creates a nice little bed of that note or that chord for you to do other things over the top. And it's got a few different modes. It's a really handy little item to give yourself some background ambience and pads to play behind and whatnot. The tremolo is a fairly unique little item in that it has multiple speeds. You can change the speed anywhere from all the way low, ridiculously high, to ridiculously low, and you can set it from anywhere from just a gradual little bump to all the way hard clipping tremolo, and that's what I keep it set at. I keep the depth almost as high as it'll go, so it cuts almost all the way out. It gives you control of your off on and your speed, so that's pretty handy. Then over here is the newest piece. This just came out in April. Nothing like it on the market before. It's the iRig Stomp, and everything else I'd found before that on the market was a cheap plastic piece of junk. No offense to the manufacturers of cheap plastic pieces of junk, because I use plenty of those. But this particular unit is metal chassis, fairly solid. It's got your input gain, volume, your bypass. I don't know why you would bypass it. And the big benefit of this, it's got your stereo outs and everything, but your big benefit of this is just this one little skinny cord is all that has to run to your iPad. Before you had the big adapter and stuff just hanging right off your iPad that you had to find something to do with. So it takes a lot of the stress off of the input jack of the iPad. This is where the magic happens. I gotta thank Dustin Miller, our producer and engineer on our last CD, for showing me about the magical wonders of virtual amplification. So as you can see here, you got your pedals, and you can bring each pedal in or out of the chain, and you can touch each one and adjust each knob is just however you want and set everything you want, and then it's just really amazingly intuitive. You can, you know, switch the orders of your effects. So you want compression after the amp instead of before. You can experiment with all of that. The beauty of it is for every kind of sound you want, you can have a different head and a different pedal board. And that's where the Griffin Stomp box comes in handy. You can, this is assignable, and you can set each one. You can see as I click them, they take different effects in and out of the pedal board. I typically keep it set equalization of some sort, compression or distortion, modulation, which would be your choruses and auto wahs and envelope filters and stuff, and then delay. So that way, even if they're not in the right order up here, it's easy to remember when I get down here. So that's what I'm using for a live setup, and I would highly recommend it. Really, if you wanted to, you could roll to a live gig rather, with take the Griffin Stomp box, the iPad with its holder, and just the iRig, and go to a show if you had faith that you're going to be loud enough in the monitors. But as you bass players out there know, that's not a luxury afforded to us. So there you have it, a quick overview of what I use live. It's really pretty easy to set up. It all runs off of one power plug, and then everything else runs out the Furman power conditioner out the back, and everything tucks nicely into my rack unit. So it's a pretty high-tech setup, but really it's pretty minimal. I used to hassle with a lot more stuff when I used to use 2 pedal boards, so it has made life a lot easier and opened up a whole world of tonal possibilities that I never thought I would access. Stuff you could spend thousands of dollars trying to get some of these sounds and not have much luck. So hopefully this information is useful to some people. Maybe it'll inspire somebody else to make the technological leap, and maybe they'll go even farther than I did and go all the way ampless. I'm not the first to do this, and I certainly won't be the last. I would certainly recommend it to anybody. So hope that was helpful.
Now won't you journey with me?